Hey, Tefen here from Tefen.ca, and just want to make a video to update people with some things that have been going on and some future stuff to come. There's some big announcements in regards to retro PC gamers, if you haven't already heard. So make sure to go check out retropcgamers.com and watch the video on there. If not, go to the YouTube channel or whatever other social media. There should be a link on one of them or something to go watch the video on YouTube there. So other than that, there's been also some future stuff to come in regards to PC modding. Check out tefenstech.com and hit up the link to the YouTube on there, or youtube.com/tefenstech, and go watch the new video on there for updates on that as well. I don't want to just like rehash everything that's already on other videos. You can go watch. So so aside from what's already been posted on both of those videos, I've just been really busy around the house trying to clean up, reorganize my studio and work area, stuff like that. Gotten things more where I'm wanting it now. Starting to get things ready and set up for being able to do some streaming, some live streaming for gaming, things like that. And yeah, so next step, I got to get a webcam that I can use for streaming on. And great news is the motherboard, motherboard and processor combo that I had put into the bottom half of my Tiberium reactor build, that I couldn't get working. I finally figured out what was going on with it and wrong with it, which was kind of like, in a way, an April Fool's joke to me, I guess, because I had put a CMOS battery in it that I thought I'd grabbed from a pile of good batteries and just assumed it was good. Yeah, my mistake, because I ended up coming across another scrap computer that someone dropped off, and I was checking that computer to see if it worked, and I realized the CMOS and BIOS or whatnot was not keeping the information stored and kept resetting each time I booted it up. So I realized that the battery might be dead or too low, and that I need to replace it. So I took it out, checked the voltage things, and yeah, it was. So then I went looking around for a replacement one that I thought I did have, but then I couldn't find it. I did have it, it turns out, found it a day later. But nonetheless, back to the story. So I thought, well, I know one place that I should probably have a working one, which would be in that motherboard I just spoke of that I thought I'd put the good one into. So I open up. I'm like, all right, well, it's not working right now anyways. Let's pull the battery and use it to test this other, not new, but scrap motherboard that I acquired. And yeah, I thought I should make sure to at least test it before putting it in, and use like 0. 0.2 volts. Yeah, so pretty quick to have assumed and figured out that yeah, well, gee, no wonder it didn't work and kept looping when I tried to boot it, because the battery was dead. So I was like, well, then maybe it actually works. So I took this computer that was like, okay, well, I've already been using this one. I know the battery works. So I pulled the battery on that and put it in the other motherboard and booted it up, and it worked. Yes. So it's not an overly powerful motherboard and CPU, but at least something to have it functional for now and get me by until hopefully some sponsor parts come in to replace that for finishing up the mod of the Tiberium reactor that I'm working on. So yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of long story to that. So yeah, good news. That's working. So the point in that is that the bottom half of the build was to do the stuff like some rendering things when I need to be using the main computer for still continuing to edit and do other work, so that way I can put the rendering onto the other computer and just leave it to sit there running, rendering it. And then the other main part was, like I said, the streaming. So my idea was that I have an HD PVR rocket capture device, and I figured instead of wasting up resources and things on my own computer trying to upload and stream the content, I can just use the rocket to capture the content, since I don't do anything higher than 60 frames per second anyways, because my monitor is only 60 hertz 1080p. So I figured, well, I might as well use the capture device then, and I can have that plugged in through the USB to the bottom computer and have the HDMI of the main top gaming computer running through it, and then I can be able to take that video feed with the bottom computer and use OBS Studio and whatever else not to upload that or stream that to the internet using the HD PVR rocket. So that way it's, like I said, not wasting up any resource on the main computer. So yeah, so that's kind of the setup stuff I've been working on with that. And yeah, so that's a main large part of what's been going on around here. And yeah, got a lot to figure out and think about for plans on what I'll be doing, and as far as sponsors go and the build for Anime North. Yeah, that's my big concern right now. I know for the Forest City Comic Con, my plans are to use the Tiberium reactor build and take the cooling tower off the top, since this isn't like a cheesy cop-out thing. In case anyone's wondering, I initially built the build with the intention of doing this in the first place, that I thought the green crystals that I used for the reservoir, when I wanted to do this to begin with, I thought, okay, those crystals would be cool for a Tiberium thing for Command and Conquer, and B, Superman kryptonite, right? So I thought, what better to do than be able to have two different mods with one system? So that's why I try to go with a bit of a neutral thing on the black and yellow caution striping stuff, and then instead of actually putting an actual physical logo on it for Command and Conquer or Superman, vice versa, whatnot. Although depending with sponsorship of things, I might look into adding some fan grills that can easily be removed and switched up for depending on what theme I'm wanting to go with. But one of the big features was putting that huge LCD onto the side panel, not the side panel that you look into, not a see-through one, but the back side where the cable management is. So that way I could use that huge screen to display graphics, and I could be able to put like big Superman logo or Tiberium Command and Conquer related stuff, so that way I could be able to easily switch up what I want to do with it. Obviously also it serves other purposes, being able to watch things, display computer temperature readouts, or even game off of it on a LAN party or something. So but back to the design part of things, so this way I can be able to do a Superman kryptonite thing, which I already have a background for that set up and done already. All I have to do is take the cooling tower off the top of it, because that doesn't totally match, and then instead of green for the LED strips on the outside of the case, I switch those up to red, and then the bottom part of the case has the blue, so you got the blue and red from Superman, and then it still has the black lighting and other stuff on the inside for the kryptonite and stuff like that. So yeah, and then I might, if I have the time, put together a different GPU backplate to go along with, or some fan grills, stuff like that. So just a few extra little things I gotta do to touch up and finish up some things on it. If I get time, I really still like to figure out putting together some new front panels for both the bottom and top parts, so that way everything's more in unison and looks nicer. I don't like the idea with the slots for the 5.5. I think it's 5.5. I always forget whether it's 5.25, 5.5, but the disk drive bay areas, you know what I'm talking about. And so because you got like one fan on one side looks nice, but then the other fan doesn't match because it's got the different individual pieces of mesh for those drive areas. And then like on the top half you got the two fans, and then you got your drive areas, and it just unbalances it because it's supposed to just be three nice fans. And then the strips also don't go all the way up, they only go up the part for the two fans. So I'd like to have it be a nice uniform 3-fan thing, and then plans to replace the radiators with just one 360 radiator and do some hard tubing and other stuff like that. So yeah, so that's kind of what's going to be going on with that. So that build will be featured at the Forest City Comic Con and possibly likely the London Comic Con, because Superman's a big, huge, well-known thing for comic book stuff, and a lot of the people attending those events are very big on their comic book stuff. I've already known and seen from past events, having featured builds at them and having had friends feature computer builds at these events, that the people attending aren't hugely interested at all in computers or custom computers. So in efforts to try to strike up their interest and stuff, I'm trying to meet them on what they are interested in and feature some cool Superman stuff, so that way grabs their interest, that they're going to want to actually check it out and take a closer look. So yeah, so that's the deal with that. As far as the Anime North build goes, oh boy. So I got some different options. Not a lot, but I got some. I got the Ghost in the Shell build that I've already done. I was looking up online for what are some of the most watched animes recently, for like Funimation, Crunchyroll, things like that. And oddly enough, Ghost in the Shell, the anime, was within I think the top 10, and within like the top 20 or 25 the movie as well. So I guess a lot of people, for some reason, all of a sudden now are actually watching Ghost in the Shell. So in North America at least. So yeah, there's that option that I can take that build and fix it up more, do a nice new front panel to it, put in like a 240, probably 360 radiator into it with the custom hard tubing water loop and stuff like that. Probably obviously have to take out the hard drive bay cage area and some slight modifications, and shouldn't be too much to fix that up and get that looking nice. Some cable mods and whatever. So yeah, that would probably be my easiest option at the moment, is going with that. My less easier option would be to do a whole new build for One Piece, because I'm a big One Piece fan. I got a huge One Piece mouse pad that covers a large part of my desk, and a couple One Piece figures of Boa Hancock and Robin, my two favorite characters, that I could also feature with the build. So the only problem is what to do for One Piece. Like, I can't very well, I could, but it'd be very well difficult to do the actual pirate ship of the Sunny, because transportation, having to drive up to Anime North, yeah, I don't know like how well it's going to make the trip without ending up getting damaged and stuff, because that would be a fairly delicate mod, and then I would have to have that in some kind of special casing and padding and all sorts of stuff to avoid it getting damaged. So yeah, and it would be a heck of a lot of work making that, and I only have less than 2 months, so I don't think that seems like a very decent option to go with. Some other ideas that I thought of would be to have like a squarish type shape case maybe. I'd love to build my own case from scratch for this. That's another thing, but whether I can afford the funds for all the material and a couple or other tools I might need for that, that's questionable. So um, I don't know if that'll be an option. But I was thinking of possibly just doing like a big square case or something, and then figuring some way to have a transparent top or something to it. I'm not sure. I still have to figure that out, how you'll be able to still see inside and see all the cool computer parts, but I thought of maybe like doing a big map on the top of it of like the One Piece world or something with the Grand Line and stuff like that. Um, but I don't know the in the anime how decent of a image quality or definition picture there actually is of that, or what I can get for an image to go on with that, or how exciting that would really be. Like a lot of people would just kind of look at it and probably wouldn't know what the hell it is. Um, so I don't know. I don't think that's the best of ideas. And I thought of like doing the whole see-through LCD panel with doing the map like that, but even then, like I said, I don't think just the one piece map's really going to grab people's attention to look at it. So kind of not thinking that'll be a decent idea. Other animes that I'm into that are fairly popular would be Fairy Tale, but I have no idea what I would do for a build for that. Um, so yeah, doing like the Fairy Tale Guild Castle or something, I think would be like really complex and way too much. So I think that anime is probably out of the question. I definitely want to at least be some anime. Other thoughts? Oh yeah, the Magi series, but I also can't think of what to do for a structure for that either. And Seven Deadly Sins. A lot of all these still sums up to similar things that like it's going to involve a complex castle to have to build or something. My other issue is that like I don't want to just take a regular computer case and just decorate it with some picture or image and stickers and backplates and fancy color to theme to an anime. I want to make something that is physically different or something from just a regular typical computer case with some artwork to it, because that just to me feels so overdone and just feels more at this point in time like just build and decorating or something. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like things really changed a lot with computer modding and building and stuff, and the fine line between the two now, with things like services from V1 Tech where you can just get all these case sticker panel things and slap on all of your case and just buy all the parts pre-done. You put it together, and I don't know, like, is that really even a mod? Or are you just making a build because you didn't really have to mod and make those parts yourself? You just bought everything still and assembled it. So buying all the parts and just assembling it, that's kind of what uh, technically or defines a build rather than a mod. So I don't know. I'm just kind of really conflicted on the whole situation with that. I'd really personally love to build a scratch case like you see in front of you. This I think was like my first and possibly only scratch build to date that I actually built pretty much the whole thing from scratch. I mean, aside from obviously having to cut off the um, hard drive mounting thing and the mounting back plate and this piece here, but I mean otherwise it's pretty much basically a scratch build. So yeah, so that's kind of my thing. I would like to make a scratch build, and even if I don't, I'd like to be able to find the right kind of case that I can be able to get sponsored and modify it in a good enough way that it's really making it into something different and unique, that when people see that, they see like a sculpture, a statue, or something different that like really draws their eyes and their attention, rather than just a fancy colored up computer case. Because with all of that RGB and everything being shoved so much in everyone's face now, it's all of a sudden become the expected and the norm. And then now when people see it, they're a lot less impressed now, and they just kind of turn their head and like, whatever. Yep, another fancy disco light show, bunch of bright color light computer system. That's normal, just like everyone else's. So, like, that really complicates things, makes it harder, more complicated for what to do with doing a PC mod now these days. So, with all that in consideration, I'm really trying to figure this out. I don't have much more than probably by the end of this week to get this figured out, because I don't have a lot of time to get everything done and get sponsors and parts in from sponsors to put together to build this. So, providing that I can even get them for it, which I sure hope that I could, though, at least. It's a pretty large event, so. But yeah, that's kind of the long gist of what's been going on around here with myself and Tefen's Tech and stuff like that. So, and as far as the retro PC gamers goes, go check out the video for that, like I mentioned. So, anyway, check out the description. I really, at this point, really can use your support. So, hit up those affiliate links and ways to donate, Patreon, whatever. Anything you can do would be helpful at the moment. Even if you want to just like send money privately or something like that, just contact me on Facebook, or if you can on Facebook, whatever other social media or email or something. And I'm sure I can figure some way to work things out with you. Other than that, just make sure to subscribe, follow, all that other stuff on various social media. Links on the website, tefen.ca. And have a varied, happy day.